Oh, a bit difficult to walk today. I had a big party for the local community I live in, and we tied a few on with British drinking time. I just wanted to take this opportunity to wish you all a very happy Christmas and reflect on what's been an amazing year that I've been really honoured to share with you. I don't usually, thanks Oscar, I don't usually use this channel as a marketing tool, but I just wanted to speak from one composer to another. Of the many of you I've spoken to this year, I do get the impression that one of the biggest blockers to using our Spitfire samples is the price point is very, very high. There's this wishlist thing, I don't know if you've seen this with Spitfire, and it really is, I guarantee you, the cheapest way to get our product. We've really gone kind of thermonuclear. If you basically go to the website, add some stuff to your wish list that you kind of fancy, you don't have to commit to that, but just wait for an email on Christmas Day and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Again, from one composer to another, if you're interested in this studio range, I can tell you without giving too much away that the Winds is done. The Winds are going to be coming very, very soon. And if you're interested in having the whole package, if you put studio strings, you haven't bought it already, if you put studio strings in your wish list, buy it through the wish list. If you buy brass on promo, I can guarantee when Winds comes out, there's going to be a way to put a bow around the package, which is the absolute cheapest way that you could have done it. So strings in wish list, buy brass on promo. That's if you're interested in the whole studio package. Well worth it. I think brass is possibly the best product we've ever put out. Really, really proud of the team. And that kind of brings me on conveniently to me bringing my mum around the HQ. I can't explain what Spitfire is to my mum because my mum really can't get her head around technology. So I've never brought her to Spitfire to kind of meet the crowd. But with the new HQ and stuff, I thought, you really kind of need to come and see how big this thing has got. And I think quote of the year for me would be my mum going, "Christian, I just had no idea." So that was really fun. But the thing that she pointed out to me was not the scale of the operation and how lovely the HQ was. She just went, the thing that I'm really going to really take away with me is just how lovely those people are that you work with. So that's the next shout out to the kind of Spitfire Massive. You are just the most extraordinary, eclectic group of mad geniuses who are just the nicest people to hang out with. And I'm just very proud and honoured to be a part of your lives, really. The greatest part of Spitfire is making new friends and not feeling as alone and isolated as a composer. To refer to people like Hans Zimmer, Olafur Arnolds and Eric Whitacre as friends is one of the true honours of this whole incredible experience. And it's also a real honour to have worked on, I think one of the real highlights this year was the Eric Whitacre Choir Library. It was something that has been perplexing Paul and I for a decade now, and to get something out that we all kind of jointly very proud of, and everything we wanted in the choir library is, really something special. Disappointments of the year, I'd say that the year started badly with me going to LA only to basically lie in bed for a week with chronic bronchitis and then just fly back home. That was a kind of a low point to me. Being a vegetarian is not great, particularly when it hasn't helped me lose any weight whatsoever. I've just learnt that if you replace beef and meat and sausages with the same kind of mass in cheese, it doesn't help you lose weight at all. Another low point was I did a talk in Amsterdam. Basically, I got to my 100th episode this year, which is a highlight. I did my 100 do's and don'ts of media composition live in Soundtrack Cologne. If you're in Europe and you've never been to Soundtrack Cologne, go. It's absolutely brilliant. And it was really good. It was like, got a lot of laughs, and I was very sweary, I was very nervous. My team said, "Oh, you should definitely do that again, because we reckon just a few tweaks here and there, it could be a little bit of you could take that thing on the road." So they took me to this dance event in Amsterdam, and I was wrongly billed as 100 do's and don'ts of advertising music, and I was billed as an advertising executive giving advice to people on how to get syncs on adverts. I was in the wings of the stage, and I said to my events manager, "You do realise I'm about to go out on stage and tell 100 in-jokes to 30-odd people who aren't in on the joke, 30-odd people who became 20, who became 10, and I think it was just me, the events manager, and someone who really wanted to speak to me about doing a sample library. It was crucifying, and I will not do it again. I've really enjoyed the travelling this year. Going to Japan always holds a really special part in my heart, because I love the people that we work with out there, but also it's extraordinary to go somewhere that is so curiously alien to a Western, that feels so totally different, and to walk into people's studios and to see the Spitfire stuff being used and the same kind of passion for music and for, good sounds and for creating something new and inspiring. That's a real highlight for me. Moving into the new HQ was a really kind of pretty seminal moment, really. It wasn't the HQ itself, it was when that sign went up. It was like, we've got a lot to live up to now. So I'm really looking forward to the next 10 years in this new HQ. And it was great. A massive highlight for me was coming into the HQ and putting her to work straight away with the series of events that we did over Black Friday. And again, congratulations to the team for basically working out how to make our own little TV studio. But I would have to say possibly the highlight of the year for me was hooking up with a bunch of you for a couple of nights ago for the winter solstice, just to be able to get together with a bunch of people who weren't just based in the Edinburgh area. There were people who had come in from Stirling, from Glasgow, from Newcastle, down in Cumbria. A couple of people came up from London. There was a chap who flew in from France and a guy who flew in from Monaco. There were 3 girls there, which is, I think, roughly 10% of the number of people who turned up, so we're improving on things. But just, thanks so much for bothering to turn up on what was a pretty miserable afternoon. I would love your comments down below if that's something you'd like us to do in your city, hooking up with a bunch of you guys and girls on a walk and going for a drink just to talk about our lives as composers. This is something you're interested in. I'd love to kind of gauge whether that would be of use to the community, and maybe next time we can bring along Sandy and Homai and Oliver, maybe Paul, but I have to warn you, Paul, it's the little thing, trait, he walks really quickly. So that for me is a highlight, and for me just sums up the amazing experience that it is having this YouTube channel and the support that you all give to it. I've been wanting to make my own sample library now for several years, and I thought that this YouTube channel would be a prime opportunity to do that in a way that was highly visible. But it took me 9 months to figure out what that sample library would be, and I'm so relieved I managed to get that first piano book episode out before the end of the year, and I do believe that it's something that's going to be a lot of fun to do. So that, I don't know if you've checked out that piano book, there's a little kind of gift in there. If you go to pianobook.co.uk or to the film that's being linked above and below, there's links to all of the little kind of piano freebies that I've done this year, including this new piano that I did in 2 minutes 10 seconds, which is a prototype for a piano called Winter Piano that I'm creating. Spitfire Audio has just released Frozen Strings in its own plugin format, and that for me is a library I made and I'm really proud of. So if you haven't got any money for the wish list this year, don't worry, just pop along to Spitfire Labs, again linked below. I'm going to be switching off social media to spend some time with my family over Christmas, and I hope you will all take time to really come together with your family and friends, get away from work to recuperate for what's going to be an amazing 2019, I'm sure. I'll see you again on New Year's Day, when I'm going to prepare a film about all of the things that I am going to do or aim to do in 2019, losing weight being one of them, and I'll see you again then. So I just want to say I love you all massively, and just hope you really look after yourselves this Christmas, have a good time, lots of cuddles with your family and friends, and lots of cuddles from me to you. Happy Christmas, and I'll see you either New Year's Eve or New Year's Day around then. Bye-bye. Love doing that, makes me feel like a cowboy.